Computer Network and Security, Unit 3, Cryptography and Public Key Infrastructure. In this video, we are going to discuss about the different transposition techniques, SHA function, public key infrastructure, and the different trust model. Objectives of these videos are transposition techniques, SHA1, digital signature, key escrow, PKI, centralized and decentralized infrastructure, trust models. Transposition technique. Now first, what is the transposition technique? Then in that, the letters of the plain text are not replaced by the another letter, just the place is changed in the plain text. That means the plain text symbols are rearranged to produce a ciphertext. First method is a rail-fine cipher. Now see here, the plain text is, this is a secret message. The key value is 3. In this rail-fine cipher, key is also known as a rail. To do the encryption, we have to divide this message such a way that first create the 3 rows. Okay. Now start to write the plain text letters T, H, I, S from the first row first column, second row first column, third row first column, then in the next column T, H, I, S. This I, S is a secret, SECRET, and then message. Here the number of rails or the number of rows are 3. That is a predefined value. Okay. Now how to create the ciphertext from this matrix? To create the ciphertext, read the message in horizontal form. That means T, S, A, C, T, S, G. H, I, S, R, M, S, E. I, S, triple E, A, X. This is called a ciphertext. Now for the decryption, the total number of letters are 21 that are divided into 5 groups of letters. Okay. Now the key value is 3. So in each rail write the 7 letters. Okay. So divide the 21 by 3. So total number of columns that are generated 7. Okay. So number of rows are 3 and number of rows are 7. So create a matrix with 3 row and 7 columns. After that, write a ciphertext like TSACT in a horizontal form. Okay. Write the ciphertext in horizontal form. Now it is very easy to read the original message. How to read the original message? That read that from that matrix, read the message in a vertical form. THIS. This IS is a secret message. Okay. So arrange this ciphertext into 3 by 7 matrix. First write it in a horizontal form, and to create a plain text, read it in a vertical form. Next method is a steganography. So what is basically this steganography means? Steganography is a combination of the 2 words stegno and graphy. Stegno, that means covered or protected. These are the Greek words. Okay. So covered, and graphy, that means writing. So to write the data in a covered form or to write the data in a protected form, that technique is known as a steganography. So basically steganography is an art or a practice for concealing a message, a image or a file within another message, image or a file. That means hide your message with another message, hide your image with another image. Okay. That is a method of steganography, and then send the message from one place to another place, and at the receiver side you have to remove that cover, okay, and read the original message. So hidden message, which is your plain text or which is your original message, that may be invisible between the visible lines of the private letters. So steganography also works by replacing the bits of data such as graphics, text, sound or HTML with bits of different invisible information. This hidden information can be a plain text, ciphertext or images. To hide the message such a way, the common techniques are LSB, DTC and append type. Okay. In that, at the last you have to add some bit. Okay, you have to add some particular bit at some particular place, or you have to append the message with some particular length. For example, this is a one text file. Okay, when it is encoded, at that time it is converted into one image file. Okay, this image is going to transfer from one place to another place, and at the receiver side, once again from this image the message is extracted. So from this image no one is able to identify the original message which is written in this page. Now in the method of least significant bit, LSB, it replaces the LSB, that means a least bit, with a bit from the hidden data. LSB has a smaller effect on an amount of color or on an amount of data. Okay. So replacing the LSB to hidden data will have a small effect on the picture. So it will create effects on the picture or on the data, but very little bit effect is generated. Now DCT technique, stands for discrete cosine transform. It works by calculating the frequencies of the image, then replace some of them. That means few frequencies are going to change in that method. Okay. And the last method is append method. Instead of hide the data in the photo or by manipulating the picture, append algorithm append the data to the end of the file as appending. That means at the end of file some data is added. Okay. It is also going to change the size of file. So to append some data, some particular algorithms are used. Now next and the most important topic, hash function. In hash function, it is known as a secure hash algorithms. Basically, for the secure hash algorithm, there are 4 different structures: SHA-0, SHA-1, SHA-2 and SHA-3. Here we are going to discuss about the SHA-1. So for SHA-1, what is the basic requirement? So message size, it should be less than 264 bit, block size 512 bit, word size 32 bit, number of steps, that means it is going to repeat 80 times, and message digested size is a 160 bit. For SHA-1 in the algorithm, the first step is padding. That means pad the message with a single 1 followed by zeros until it defines the block has a 448 bits. Okay. Append the size of the original message as the unsigned 64-bit integer. You have to pad your message, or you have to add the zeros in your original message. How many zeros you have to add? Then the size of your message, that is in a multiplication of 512 bits. Okay, and in that 512 bit, last 64 bit you have to left. Okay, and in another bit you have to add the 0. So if the size of original message, for example, if the size of the original message, that is a 400 bit, Okay, the size of original message, this is 400 bit, then how many zeros you have to pad? So then up to, if you want to move up to the 512, then in the last 64 bit you have to write down some other things. So left out the last 64 bit. Okay, so up to 448, that means 48 zeros you have to pad. So here you have to add 48 zeros. So it will become 512 in future after adding the 64 bit. Now in 64 bit what you have to add? So in the 64 bit you have to add the length of that particular message. Okay, so the, for this example, the original message, that is a size with 400 bit, then the length, that means 400. You have to add 400 here. Okay, in the last 64 bit. Now the total size of this new message, it must be in a multiplication of 512 bit. Now divide the input message into the 512 bit blocks. Okay, the number of blocks are not fixed, it is depend upon the total size of the message, but each block have a size of 512 bit, and this is called a digested message. Now you have to apply the thing on that digested message. Okay, divide that digested message into 5 parts. First part, that is known as A, second B, C, D, E, and this is a message which is generated after encryption. Now how to generate this encrypted message after looping 80 times? So here I am going to explain one time. The value of E, it should be same as the value of D. So here whatever part is there in D, that you have to copy into E. See here, D is copied into E. Same way C is copied to D. See here, the data of C, that is copied into D. Okay. Now after the rotate left 30 times of B, the new block of C is generated. This B, rotate it left 30 times and the new block C is generated. Copy the data of A to B. The data of A, it is copied to B. Okay. And for the A rotate left 5 times. Apply some hash function. This is a hash function is applying on data of B, C and D, plus E plus word plus key. Okay, OR functions is applied between this 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 things, and whatever output is generated, that output is a part of A, that will become the A. Okay, this process will loop 80 times, and after that the message is generated. Which are applications of hash function? It is for the message authentication, digital signature, file integrity verification. It is also used in a password hashing and key value derivation. Now next is the digital signature. When this digital signature is needed, then there is no complete trust between the sender and the receiver. At that time it works. Which are the properties of digital signature? Then it must verify the sender, date and time of the signature. It must authenticate the content at the time of signature. It must be verified by the third party to resolve the disputes. Okay. So third party may be included in the digital signature rather than the sender and receiver. Now see here, this is a message M. Some cryptography hash function is applied to message M and output is generated as a H. Now from the sender side, using the public key, decrypt the message, and whatever message is generated, that is H dash. Now this H and H dash both are compared. Okay, at the receiver side, and if the comparison is successful, then it will a valid message. Otherwise, it is not a valid signature. Digital signature gives two algorithms, one for the sender and other for the receiver. Sender, which involves the user's private key, and one for verifying the signature, which involves user's public key. So digital signature is an electronic signature that can be used to authenticate the identity of the sender of a message and ensure that the content of the message that has been sent is unchanged. Key escrow. Key escrow, that is basically a third party which is used to store or keep the key safely. So when key is not stored by the sender and the receiver, in that case the key is stored by the key escrow. So it is a cryptography key exchange process in which a key is held in escrow or stored by the third party. Key escrow provides a backup source for the cryptographic keys, but key escrow, that is a risky. Why? Because third party is involved in between the sender and the receiver. Public key infrastructure, it is known as a PKI. It is also called asymmetric key infrastructure. It is used a pair of key to encrypt and decrypt the data. PKI enables users of ensure to securely and privately exchange the data through the use of a private and the public cryptography. In the key pair, public and private both key are used. Private key, that must be kept secret. Data encrypted by one of the two keys can be decrypted by other. The key problem of PKI is to manage the public key. Currently, this PKI uses a digital certificate mechanism to solve the problem. That digital certificate binds the public key to their owners, helps to distribute the public keys in large network security. This is the architecture of the PKI. These are the PKI users and these are the PKI management authorities. Certificate repository are working with both the users and the management authorities. Management authority issues the certificate with the use of certificate authorities. That certificate are stored over here, and the entity first check that certificate and then and only then create a trust on the management. In the PKI, which are the main parts of PKI entity, these are known as the end users of PKI services. They may be a person, an organization, or a device like a router. Certificate authority that issues the certificate specifies the validity period of the certificate. Then registration authority that implements the functions like identity authentication, key pair generation and key pair backup. And PKI repository, it serves a common database between the entity and the management. It stores and manages the information like certificate requests, certificates, key values. Digital certificate. Digital certificate, that is a file signed by the certificate authority for the entity. This digital certificate includes some basic information like the entity, public key of the entity, name of that organization, signature of the certificate authority, validity period of certificate, and where the signature of CA ensure the validity and authority of the certificate. Digital certificate binds a public key to information about its owner. Basically, there are two types of certificate, local and CA certificate. Local certificate is a digital certificate signed by certificate authority for the entity, and certificate authority certificate is a certificate of that of itself. Okay. Digital certificate are issued by the certificate authorities, and it is made up from the software, hardware, some rules and regulations, and people. How to obtain the digital certificate? First, user have to request for the certificate. When a user requests a certificate, the registration process will require the user to enter the specific information to a web form. Which type of information? Like a validity period, about the key information, about the authority of that particular organization. This type of information user have to enter. The web page accepts the user's public key, or it will set the users to create a public or private key pair. Then public key and registration form are forwarded to the registration authority for the process. Once RA finishes this processing the request and verifies the identity of that particular users, the RA sends the request to the certificate authority, and certificate uses the RA provided information to generate the digital certificate and integrate the necessary data into the certificate. Basically, there are two types of infrastructure for the key storage: centralized infrastructure or the decentralized infrastructure. First, centralized infrastructure. If the keys are generated and stored from a central PC or the central server and then transmitted to the required system as per its need, then it is called a centralized approach. And if in the decentralized approach, a software or individual computer generates and stores the keys on that local system. Now, which are the benefits of this centralized key generation? Then only a single PC needs necessary resource power to produce the key. It is much easier to back up the keys and implement the key recovery procedure with the central storage. The risk factor is very low. Only center computer maintain their own key pairs. Which are the drawbacks of the centralized key generation? It must be securely transmitted when user required that particular key. Key must be available. Single point of failure. Prime target for the attacker that PC may be. If company wants to provide truly authenticity, the key should not be generated at a centralized server. Now, how to protect the private key? Key must be stored for the future use. This storage is called the key store. So, it must be transported securely. It must be stored securely. The access of private key must be minimized. Users should be minimized. Change at the end of its lifetime. It must be properly destroyed after the use. It never be exposed in clear text. It should not be shared with anyone else, unauthorized people. Trust model. A trust model is a construct of the system, application, technology, protocols, personals and policies that work together to provide a certain level of protections. All of these components work together with the same trust domain. Here we have to discuss about the three main trust domains or the three trust models: hierarchical trust model, breach trust model, hybrid trust model. Hierarchical trust model, in that there is a single root CA. Below the root CA, the multiple intermediate CAs are there. The level for the intermediate CAs, it may be one or multiple. Each intermediate CA contains a leaf CA, and at the last this leaf CA is attached with the entities or the users. Here remember one thing, that these root CAs which are at the top of this hierarchy are self-certified by using a self-signed CA certificate. Okay, these are the self-certified. Then root CA certified these intermediate CAs. Intermediate CAs have authority to check up for this leaf CA, and it provides the certificate to this leaf CAs. These leaf CAs have authority to give the certificate to the end entities or the user. So it is in a one hierarchy. That's why it is known as a hierarchical trust model. And the most trusted CAs in any certificate hierarchy, and they need to be highly secured as well. These root CAs are. Root CAs are at the top, and intermediate CAs are the next in the hierarchy. They only trust information provided by the root CA. Same way, the root CA trust intermediate CA that are in their level in the hierarchy. This is the most common implemented trust model in a large organization. Next is a bridge trust model. In this bridge trust model, there are two root CAs, two or more than two root CAs are there, and in between these multiple root CAs, there is a bridge. That means this root CA is able to transfer the information to another, and this is also able to transfer the information to another. Okay, and this root CA is certified to each other. Okay. This root CA is able to give the certificate to this intermediate CA. This intermediate CA is able to give the certificate to this leaf CA, and this leaf CA provides the certificate to the users. This is also known as a peer-to-peer model. A peer-to-peer relationship exists between the root CAs. The root CAs can communicate with each other with allowing the cross-certification. This is implemented between the organization or the department. So CA structure can be expanded without creating additional layers of CA. Now the next is a hybrid trust model. It's a combination of any trust model. See here these are the root CA, and after that these are the intermediate CAs. These intermediate CAs certified to each other. Okay, these are the two different models, but the intermediate CAs of two different models certified each other. Okay, it may be possible that root CAs of these two models certified to each other. Okay, or the leaf CAs of this trust model certified to each other. So any combination may be possible, and that is known as a hybrid trust model. Different model types have to be combined to provide the communication lines and level of trust. It is known as a hybrid trust model. The two companies have their own internal hierarchy mode and are connected through a peer-to-peer model using the cross certification. It can become complicated and very confusing. The structure of this model, it is very tough. Thank you.